Rakesh made a good point. You've got all those different technologies that the contact center can sit on top of. But guess what? When I call in, I don't care what contact center they're using.
Very true. Yeah.
It's all about, I want to get as fast to my solution, my need as possible, without me having to go to the place where I say, customer service, customer service.
Yeah.
Customer service.
Agent now. Agent now, damn it. Well,
I
you know what?
off mine like that. I push 0 off the bat. So,
Rakesh builds in the George Christopher
there you
option.
Go. Well, this episode is brought to you by CSG. CSG's SaaS solutions optimize every step of the tolling journey, from billing and payments to customer engagement, helping agencies maximize revenue through smarter, more integrated experiences. Make more, save more, and do more. Visit csgi.com. Welcome back to Toll Talk. I'm Alex Fakeri.
And I'm Tyler Milligan.
And we're excited to welcome you back to our show, specifically because we're continuing our customer journey mini-series, which is outside our normal episodes, because we're going to be exploring people, technologies, strategic transformation of how the customer experience is evolving in the tolling industry right now. So, but before we dive in, I am really excited to have Tyler here again, our special co-host in the chair next to me. And if some of you have been following Toll Talk, Tyler recently conquered our Wheel and Tolling Challenge, where he earned the opportunity to join us as a guest host for some of these episodes. So, Tyler, I'm glad to see you here. You don't look, like you're scarred too badly and no PTSD. So, how you doing, buddy?
I did have to change shirts. Drink about 2 gallons of milk, but I'm back and safe.
I love it. I love it. That's great. So, all right. So, Tyler, tell us what we're doing today.
Thanks, Alex, for having me. I appreciate it. Today is going to be amazing. We're going to have a great opportunity to learn from some amazing transportation leaders today.
Oh, that's great. And throughout this mini-series, I think we're going to be taking a closer look at the touch points from cradle to grave and how people look at everything from payments to customer service, the digital experience, but also the innovations that are making transportation right now a little bit more seamless, right? More focused on the customer, which is what this is all about. So, yeah, I think that's it.
Thanks, Alex. So today we're discussing the rise of account-based tolling and how these account-based systems are simplifying enrollment, payments, account management, and the overall customer experience. As agencies continue to modernize this shift and transforming not only the technology behind tolling, but also the way customers interact with transportation every day.
Yeah. Well, I think as we explore this into this evolution, it's going to be important to look at the challenges of implementation. I think that's the other aspect of it, and what the future really holds for this foundation and essentially smarter connected mobility. But I'm definitely not the expert, so that's why I have you here, because you know everything, right?
Oh, that's why we've got these 3 amazing people joining us today. What are you talking about?
There we go.
So joining us today, speaking of,
all right,
we've got Jessica Carson, Senior Transportation Consultant at GFT, Rakesh Kotamraju, Vice President of Technology and Business Development at Elite Tech Consulting, and the one, the only, George Christopher, Senior Vice President of the Smart Mobility Hub at Accenture,
and President of the United States.
Well, that too. I didn't want to bring that up today.
Well, and he's governor whatever state he walks into.
Well,
so,
fair enough. Yes.
So we are really glad to have them joining us. So thanks for all tuning in today. Let's go ahead and dive in.
All right, to kick things off, we want to get to know each other a little better. Now, we'll go around the table, and if each of you could take about a minute or two to introduce yourself, tell you where you're from, where you work, and what you're focused on in your current role.
Well, and you have to say 30 seconds for George because his resume is so long, right? He'll go on. Jessica, why don't you start us off? Tell us about who you are.
Thanks, Tyler. Thanks, Alex. I'm so happy to join this podcast today. Tyler, I've worked with you for as long as I've been in the industry, I think, and have learned everything from you. Just kidding.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
That's a bad start, Jess.
No, I've been in the industry almost 2 decades. I started with E470, and at that time there, I worked my way up. I started as operations coordinator, and then before I left, I served as director of operations and director of public affairs. So throughout that 18 years, I got to see the entire organization from pavement to payment, and worked with all the different departments and got to get the perspectives and really work with the customer and hear the customer voice. So got to got to oversee customer service, the traffic management center, marketing, communications, and everything in between. So it was an amazing experience.
Wow.
And now I've been with GFT almost a year and a half, and it's really great being able to be on both sides of the coin, because I can put my agency hat on when working with a client and really understand what their pain point is or the challenge, and then put my consulting side on and working with other different agencies, have perspective of what's worked for others and what hasn't worked, and just get a bigger picture. So it's helped me work with the customer and serve my new clients based on where I started and what I've seen over the years.
Okay.
I feel like something else happened a couple weeks ago. Something recent. I don't remember. Might have seen it online. I don't know. What did
was
something
it?
big happen
Something
in
happened.
Jessica's life?
Jessica,
No.
anything you would like to report?
I saw Sadie. I heard she was taking some photos of something.
Yeah.
I saw this beautiful couple under some trees. What was that about?
Sadie was definitely present and made our special wedding day magical. So I actually have a new last name, but I have to figure out all the steps I have to do to get that. So at some point you'll see me as Jessica Allard, but that will take some getting used to. But yeah, got married a couple weeks ago, and it was magical, and Sadie was there to capture it. So thank you.
Pictures were amazing.
Well, it's Sadie, you know, so her stuff's always fantastic.
Oh yeah.
But no, congratulations.
Did Tyler officiate?
I'm
that would have
sure
been
he would have made that fun, but no, actually,
Okay.
our stepdad and a family friend.
Okay. All right.
appreciated
That's
it.
great.
It was really fun.
Congratulations. Congrats. I'm very happy for you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Jessica. Yes, it's a big
Thank
milestone.
you.
All right, Rakesh, tell us about you, my friend.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Alex and Tyler, for having me. It's really an honor to share perspective with industry peers like you. I have known the both of you and George personally now. And finally, it's very good to meet you, Jessica, from GFT. I've heard a lot of good things about you, and thank you for your ad on LinkedIn. I really appreciate it. Well, as you all know, my name is Rakesh Kotamraju. I'm VP of Technology and Business Development at Elite Tech Consulting. And I'm going to steal this word. The mojo behind Elite Tech Consulting is it was started, or the innovation happened, or the evolution happened from, I think you all know them, and as a good friend of Tyler too, Sabu Stephen, who was on the agency side of things at NTTA. He was the COO. I can't talk about his history because it's a 10-year long history in the tolling agency, because all of you know, so I'll stick to that. And the operator side of things that he noticed when vendors come in, I know why my introduction is important, because we're speaking specific to tolling and Elite, then I'll come to me. And then we said, like, okay, how can technology evolve around the vendor perspective? So I take care of contact center management, business development, new innovative technologies of AI adaptation, digital channels like chat, SMS, website, and how that can be integrated into the CRMs and the lovely back offices. And of course, working alongside experts. Since I did not have the time to prep for naming the agencies, I've had the pleasure of having a wonderful program manager do the big transformation, which is Mr. Tyler Milligan, in the recent past for the Texas major agency, and I handled the contact center part of it. I must say, when such a quorum happens among teams, the leader has a good mention. I want to mention, Tyler, I never mentioned this to you, but I did watch your presentation where you said, the best transformation is when it is never heard of. That's the exact line he used, and that was a year and a half ago. Nobody heard about it, and it went very smoothly. And that's what I'm looking to learn from my peers here. So thank you for having me.
Yeah,
I really appreciate you.
All right, I might have to duck here if his head gets any bigger. No, I'm just kidding. No. Just so you see me duck, you know why. No, that's great. No, I appreciate that. Okay, and
That's why we got George here.
Yeah, that's right.
He's
He's going to humble us all. George, humble us. What's going on, buddy?
Look, fellas, we can all agree. I owe you drinks at the next conference. We can. I can only have so many $20 bills to slide, so I do appreciate, all the kindness.
No worries.
Look, as Rakesh just said, I feel like we're at a mini reunion and we're about to do karaoke. I've known Jessica for years, Rakesh, and the both of you, and this is a great panel. So everyone's smarter than me. But yeah, so yeah, George Christopher. I'm the SVP here at Accenture in the Infrastructure and Capital Projects practice area, where I work on smart mobility initiatives across North America. I'm located in Northern Virginia, so right outside of DC, in Loudoun County. So actually, I live where all these AWS data hubs
That's right.
centers are located. So, after the White House, they're going to nuke my house first or second, rather. So, but yeah, so I've been in the tolling industry about 15 years. I've worked with directly with tolling agencies, not as for the agency, but contracted with them. I've been a sub to most of the firms, who are the usual suspects.
Yeah.
And then a few years ago, I decided I wanted to be a prime, and so I started working for some of the larger firms, and so joined Accenture about 18 months or so ago. And I chose Accenture because of having worked at actually and worked with a lot of the other firms. There's some great companies in the tolling industry who have great resources and toolboxes that they can take to agencies. But I recently told someone, they're like, well, what makes Accenture different? I was like, well, we not only, we're not just a toolbox, we're like Home Depot. We have every tool. I can build the garage. I can, we can plant the grass. I can paint it. It's almost unlimited resources with 800,000 people. Some of the other firms I worked at have, 4 or 5 experts. I have at least 1,000, given any topic, so it's really a matter of bringing the tolling, knowledge and domain expertise to it. And we're actually about to hire quite a few more. So,
Okay.
it's an exciting time here.
That's great.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
Now, as Alex and I were kicking around ideas, and we were thinking about this concept today, I thought to myself, account-based tolling. We've been doing account-based tolling for years and years and years, Alex.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not a new thing.
Yeah. So why does it belong in a conversation about new cutting edge
Modernization.
technology? Yeah,
Come on, what are we doing
Yeah,
here?
yeah. So, guys, I mean, let's just kind of pass it over to Jessica. I mean, what are your you've been here a while as well. I mean, I think Tyler's bringing up a good point. Like, why are we talking about it like this?
Great question. And really, at the end of the day, I don't think account-based tolling is new as much as it's reached a tipping point. We've had customer accounts for years, but today the account has become the foundation of the entire customer experience. So instead of designing systems around a transponder or a single transaction, we're designing them around the customer and giving them more flexibility, more payment options, and just a more simpler experience. So basically, account-based tolling shifts the focus from managing transactions to managing customer relationships, where customers' accounts become the product, not the transponder.
Yeah.
So that's what I have to say.
Well, it's one of those things when you think about technology and people, talking about this particular topic. I think what comes to my mind is it's a frame of mind, because yes, it may have been around for a while, but when have we pivoted the core essence of why we're having the conversation? Because I think in any industry, and I think I don't want to necessarily say it's specifically in tolling because I want to come off too derogatory, but I think there's almost this willful ignorance to adapting new technology and getting on board with things. And so I'm wondering, are we talking about it because now the pain is great enough? We're ready to say, okay, let's enhance the experience and changing it that way. I mean, what do you guys think?
Well, and Rakesh, I want to ask you, so you talked about contact centers, and it makes me think about how well when we take our industry, how do our customers experience us differently than they're experiencing every other service that they utilize on a regular basis?
Yeah, that's great. And I want to point, I'm sorry, I want to add to that is that when he talks about every other service, I'm thinking like, I always go back to say, what's your experience like at Chick-fil-A or Delta or getting on the phone with AT&T, right? That's customer service. That bar is set by other people. And whether we admit it or not as agencies or professionals, whatever, that's what we're competing against. So yeah, Rakesh, could you talk about that?
That's a great question, both of you. And I wouldn't have imagined the comparison you brought in with the industry specter, tolling versus non-tolling, right? I'll give you an example, right, to start with, wherein contact center goes. What is the biggest challenge about a contact center is when you have the input that is given by the caller, right? The
Yeah,
agency
sure.
or the agency's technology, irrespective of the platform. Like George said, AWS, me, Genesis, Cisco, whichever it is. It's the utterance that the caller says. The most challenging part that comes with contact center, specifically since you asked, is the recognition. So the recognition becomes difficult because think about it. You have your phone, you call a center. Hey, what's your 10-digit phone number? 10 digits. It's easy. Hey, what's your license plate? How am I doing it over the phone? So that becomes a challenge because it's alphanumeric. The
Yeah.
technology today is far so much that you can say, supposing my license plate is ABC123, can say Alpha, Beta, Charlie, 123, and the AI behind the system is so smart that it breaks that phonetics and says, you said ABC123. I
Yeah.
don't want to elaborate much on it, but coming to one point that I don't know which one of you mentioned is how is it in comparison to a healthcare industry, right? What
Yeah.
I want to see in tolling is a customer calls and then is recognized. And the beauty of the amalgamation of technology and customer experience would be, by the way, and Tyler, I'm going to name you as an example. By the way, Tyler Milligan, thank you for being ABC Tolling Agency's customer. I see that you have a pending invoice. Would you
Yes.
like to take care of that today? So instead of going to the whole drama of welcome to this, press one to make a
Yeah.
payment, press two to, it's that back office call that has already happened, and it
Yeah.
pulled Tyler's information around.
So let me. Oh, go ahead. What were you
So
going to say?
Alex, when I listen to Rakesh, he
Yeah.
sounds like he's from East Texas.
Yeah.
He sounds like he's got a real. I hear a drawl
Yeah.
underlying something there. So how, Rakesh, how, for example, you just said something that's very straightforward, a license plate. How does it manage the different accents, the different dialects that come through? My mom
Yeah.
hates Siri because she and Siri cannot get along.
Yeah, very
and Siri
true.
doesn't like whatever she says. So how are we also managing, if we're engaging with this account,
Yeah.
and you're having to talk to some voice recognition, how is it managing that aspect of the customer experience?
That's a very good example. Again, I can give, and one of the people sitting on the panel here has a name which could confuse the system, George Christopher. So is it Christopher with a CHRIS or KRIS? I mean, not necessarily. It will start with KRIS, the most
Yeah.
of last names, but the grammar that is built behind does a predictive pattern of how it comes back. And to your point, Tyler, how does it manage is again a confirmation. Like today, one can add a license plate and a name. Say I add a name, and say you said Tyler. You want to add a name to the account, so you said Tyler. You don't know if the system is going to take it as Tyler, which is your right
Yeah.
name, or Tylor or something like that. So there will be such challenges, but an SMS confirmation, or then it switches to a chatbot where you can say
Yeah.
my spelling is, and then the system gets updated.
So
Different
you see,
channels also.
Rakesh, so that brings up a question, and I'm going to actually direct this over to George, because I think that it's these possible technical issues that cause these agencies to pause and not jump on the new technology immediately. But that could just be my perception. I mean, George, what have you seen, whether anybody's technology that comes in, is they're coming to an agency, what is the big hang up with agencies not adapting to the tech? Is it something as formal as protocols and boards and agendas, or is it more of a fear factor that goes into these things? Because that's what I'm kind of curious about.
I think it's a combination of everything you said. Agencies don't typically want to be the first. Yet they'll say, "Hey, we need innovation." But they're slow to adapt. They want to know that it's proven. The thing is, tolling agencies, our industry, everything we do here is, it's mission critical. And we
Yeah.
affect millions of people around our country, around the world, every day. And so, there's years ago, I was at a pre-bidders conference for New York MTA, and one of the closing lines of the executive who was giving the presentation has always stuck with me. He says, "Whoever wins, we want you to keep us out of the news."
Yeah,
And so, so that they're like, look, we're not in the news when it's good, it's only when it's bad. And
Yeah.
so that's been kind of something that stuck in my head for the past, 10 years or so since I was at that conference, where it's, help them stay out of the news. So they want to have a proven technology. They want the innovation. They want to figure out, how to bring in the latest technologies, but they want to be sure that it's not going to disrupt the customer experience and operations.
So that makes me think, Jess, you used to be in comms, used to be in operations. I feel like we got a fantastic perspective here. Tell us about when you were sitting there and you got the local media calling you. What's in your mind when you're thinking about this topic and you're trying to reflect back on your many years of experience when you're having to communicate to either the news or a very well-placed customer?
Yeah. Well, and I think, and I'm going to add to this, Jessica, when you answer, is that there's obviously a weighting of, benefit versus, the challenge, like into determining what do you share to the public and what do you roll out. So please, love to hear your vantage point.
Well, I think especially when the media is involved, is really trying to listen more than answer. Listen to the problem, listen to the customer complaint or what the challenge really is. At the end of the day, it's asking the right questions and reaching out to the customer and hearing what they are looking for. Going back to earlier, we're not being compared to other toll agencies. The customer's comparing us to Uber, Amazon,
and exactly.
Apple. They want easy, they want quick. And so it's really understanding where their challenges are and then prioritizing what you do first and not deflecting, but hearing the problem.
Yeah. And I think
that's what you were going for with that answer.
I think it was, but I think there's also another aspect as, the customer's vantage point. I don't know, what do you think, Tyler? You've been in some of these meetings and decisions on when somebody adopts a new technology, for the customer, what's the word?
Rakesh made a good point. You've got all those different technologies that the contact center can sit on top of. But guess what? When I call in, I don't care what contact center they're using.
Very true. Yeah.
It's all about, I want to get as fast to my solution, my need as possible, without me having to go to the place where I say, customer service, customer service.
Yeah.
Customer service.
Agent now. Agent now, damn it. Well,
I start off mine like that. I push 0 off the bat.
Rakesh builds in the George Christopher option.
Well, I think that I used to use this analogy, and I think it's more apparent now than ever. It should be shared again. And that is when you go online, like you've flown on a plane before, right? So when you get online and you're buying your ticket, you're picking where you're leaving from, where you're going, how many people are going, and then you pick whether you're getting the insurance or not, and all these things. Do you stop right before you hit submit your credit card to learn how Delta got started? You don't give a dang. But we think that's the conversation they want to hear. No, like to his point, nobody cares. I called up a vet the other day, and I was just, they just picked up exactly, like they knew the conversation I had a month ago, and it's because, and there's no way they could have just remembered it. They had the interface of software. They knew. They said, oh, how's your dog Oliver? How's Evie? I see she, we made sure we gave her that meds. Is she reacting well to them? I'm like, thank you. You saved me so much time. I feel confident. You know me, and so my confidence in you, my money will stay here. And I think that's different in tolling a little bit because you don't have to move your money, but yeah.
Sorry, Alex, if I had to interject a thought there or a saying there, because the example you gave about Oliver is it's a contact center saying that is very prominent. The best customer service interaction is the one the customer never has to make.
Yeah.
He never has to you didn't have to make that interaction. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
They
I know
do
exactly what you're
history
saying.
And you're reporting, and then they said, okay, this is the case.
Yeah. I didn't have to read out, give me your, like you said, your plate, your tag, your this, your that. You're like, okay, it's taking a ton of my time, and then I find out you can't help me, and then I'm stuck.
Can I ask George a question? So George, something I've been thinking about. You mentioned earlier.
He's dying to answer any
I
question.
know.
So
He's waiting on bated breath, right? George, so you said something earlier that made me think. When you step up to the client and you start talking about your company and all the things you can bring to the table and all these solutions that you presented to other clients, what's the experience that you typically walk away with? Are they looking at you saying, I can't wait for you to bring innovation? Or are they saying, you know, George, I love what you're telling me. You give me, we're not there yet, buddy. Tell me about that experience, because I feel like there's an opportunity for agencies or operators to think about what their perspective is versus what you or other people at the table can bring to them.
And honestly, let's be frank, look in the mirror, like as an agency.
Yeah.
Go ahead, George. Sorry, man.
Yeah. No, I get it. It's so I'm gonna steal a prior guest's phrase here, but it's walk, don't run. You know, and JJ Eden has said that on multiple events I've seen him on. So I'm not sure if it's here or somewhere else, but so the thing is that the agencies are interested, but you're going to ease into it. So I never walk in, hey, you know, we're going to reinvent your call center. We're going to go from 300 agents down to, 50. And we're going to have all these agentic solutions in place. I mean, it's just not feasible in this space.
Is it because of the fear? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, yeah. I mean, it is fear, like, because if a major transformation takes place and it doesn't fit the bill, if it then major KPIs are lost. The people start calling. Your bosses start calling, you start getting board members calling, and then those board members are getting calls from, congressmen. And so, it just starts rolling downhill onto the agency real quick. And so, one good thing about everyone on this panel, is that we are of this space. We are in the industry, and so we would know better than that. It's going to be those companies that are trying to break into the space that are going to try to come, be that bull that runs down the hill, and say we're going to do all this real quick, and it's like, well, no, we need to walk down and take care of it right.
Well, and so, I think that's because what you're telling me, I'm hearing you say, George, is that while they want to be bleeding edge, they just want to be a comfortable, dull, but firm, steadfast edge, not necessarily the bleeding edge of technology.
No, totally. Look, again, NCTA, NTTA, Pennsylvania, there's some. So there's some very progressive agencies, in our space, and they're not going to be the bleeding edge. They're not going to be the first one. So yeah.
Well, and I want to add to that, George, from the agency perspective and being in that role for so long, you're running a business 24/7. So you have to be very thoughtful with your planning, your phased approach, and understanding that you can't have downtime. You can't have impacts that are going to go back to the media. We aren't Amazon. We aren't delivering fun stuff to the customer's doorstep. They're paying a toll. So we're in a lot harder situation when it comes to being innovative and making changes. We have to be extremely thoughtful with that approach.
Yeah. So Jess, that takes me to a thought. So you a colleague of yours that lives not too far away from you is transitioning on a similar path into the consulting world with me. Tell me about as you work into the consulting space, post agency career. Is this account-based experience? Is this a long-term destination? How is it setting up? How do you see your clients engaging this concept? And is it the next step to connected a more connected ecosystem? Is it can it be with us for the next 5 years and we'll just get comfortable with it? What are you seeing as you transition through this process and learn more about your clients' needs?
Well, I don't think it's a next 5 years. I think it's just an ongoing. I mean, this is where it's going. It's evolving to, it's about the customer and it's about the account. It's not about what technology is in their vehicle. It's not going away. This can go to parking. It can go to airports. It can go to, I mean, it'll evolve as we continue to evolve and work with other organizations outside of our industry. It doesn't just stay within tolling. So I think it's interesting to see all the different perspectives. I had one very isolated perspective being at E470 for so long. So now seeing how just different business processes and rules and requirements change how you approach account-based tolling and what you need to take into account and consider when consulting with the client and helping them move towards something that's going to be better for the customer, better for them, ensure revenue collection, and just the best customer experience.
So dumb question.
Said it already, the best experience is that doesn't result in a call, and you don't want them to think more about tolling. You want them to not have to think about tolling at all. It's just part of their day and they don't have to do anything.
Now a message from our sponsor.
The business of tolling is complex. Trusted by the world's most respected brands, CSG transforms every customer interaction, communications, billing, payments, and more into a smarter, more profitable outcome. Make more, save more, do more. CSG, solving tolling's toughest challenges simply.
I mean, this seems obvious. Why are we not there yet?
Yeah.
Why are we
having this conversation again?
Yeah,
in a lot of reasons. Yeah.
It seems, and I believe you're working with a certain client that it's in a very congested region across multiple states. Why it seems blatantly obvious to me that those shared services would benefit their customers tomorrow. What's holding them back?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I think what's holding them back is all the different perspectives and all the different players. I mean, everyone approaches it from how their legacy system has approached it. So they have different challenges and different constraints. So it's not just about hitting the easy button and everyone being on the same system or following the same rules. It's buy-in, it's patience, it's making sure that we're communicating the why and not just we have to do this, so that there's understanding of why this is the way to go. And it's not easy because everyone thinks that they've been doing it the right way this whole time. So it's really hard to be open to the change.
It's difficult because I get what you're saying, Jessica. I mean, that definitely, I've sensed that myself in other engagements and opportunities. That stuff does live with us, but that paralysis by analysis thing, I don't know. It's such a curse. Rakesh, let me ask you, if you're looking at technologies and we're looking at how do we get past this hurdle? What's a technology that you're like super excited about? What is, because we've heard everything from V2X and payments and there's tons of different options out there, but what's got you excited right now that you hope people are talking about?
I think one of the things, I think George refreshed my memory here, was listening to the NCTA podcast, which you guys did was an amazing job between Manish and JJ. The vehicle is not a mode of transportation anymore, but it could be your payment gateway was what I was excited about. I mean, when I see that in the perspective of how you can modernize, say, scalability, one of the things that misses the boat here is, again, a vendor goes and says, we're going to change everything here. We're going to change that whole aspect. You're going to, I think George mentioned it again, we're going to make your 300 agents to 100 agents. Modernization or change or adaptation is not necessarily changing everything. Analyze the agency, see where they are. Like, I can't go and say to an agency, I'm going to make your boss the most AI-centric and all. Well, do you know it? Do you know our boss? Have you done an analysis? Is the first question. I'm telling you this right now. It's an open city. I have interacted with if I'm taking a little long, I just want to make one more point and then I'll turn it over to you. If you interact with people like Michael Catalico from Illinois Tollway or Manish from NCTA, try getting around something around technology that you would be a vendor seller. You will not. They know it in and out. So when you have a modernization or a plan, like you say, the technologies I'm looking for, of course, predictive AI, analytics, and an approach. Simple way.
Now, this may not be a hole that we want to go down, but I want to challenge you here too. I have a 2023 4Runner. It is not unusual for my stereo, my infotainment system, to not allow volume to work.
Oh yeah,
I've had it warranted. I've talked to the rep at the service location, and they've told me, Toyota makes terrible radios, terrible infotainment systems. So if we're going to rely more and more on the vehicle infotainment system, they're not updating the software. I know it's a Bluetooth bug because it always happens when my device is trying to engage with the unit. So how, Rakesh, how to be not to be a naysayer, but what do we do when the vehicle has a software bug and the OEM, the manufacturer, doesn't want to fix it?
Whose problem is that?
Now all of a sudden I can't compete in your ecosystem, or I can't participate in your ecosystem.
Yeah, and then there is a conversation: are the car manufacturers going to become the tolling agencies, right? Kind of concepts, right? They're the facilitators, or are they a payment system in the tolling world? So I don't know, George, do you want to comment, or anybody can comment on that?
I can open and then I'll turn it over to George if that's okay with you, George.
Sure, absolutely.
You don't want to get in the line of the fire of a tiger, but I'll take a chance. So I think again, it's again presenting the solution is not the first thing. An analysis again, to start with an example. I don't know why I'm an example giver. That's Patsara. Netflix going to Blockbuster and saying, "Hey, listen, we want to partner with you, and we want to change the way you are presenting videos, change the way you're showing classic movies." Yes, people still come and rent that cliffhanger Godfather movies from you and all, but we want to take it to OTT platform. Guess what they did? I can talk about Blockbuster when it was out of business. They laughed at Netflix. Where are we today? Now, why am I giving you that analogy? To your point, Tyler, it's a very beautiful thing that there is a technology that customers don't have to know about, but it's a glitch, right? So it's our responsibility, I think, as technologists to identify those glitches way in advance and address them. Like, I can speak to Genesis perspective because I know about that technology. It has an application called App Foundry where you yourself can go and create a third-party app and create the technology. Over to you, George.
Yeah. We've touched on so many different things. I forget what the original question was, but
will you run for presidency in 2020? I'm just kidding.
Hey man,
part of it was me to blame. I elaborate.
No,
I'm sorry,
it's okay.
George.
Rephrase the question.
So George, I was challenging us as a group that I love the concept of a connected vehicle, having my account reside in the vehicle, not even have to think about it. The car takes care of everything for me as I drive along. However, my 4Runner has a glitch that Toyota is not interested in fixing. I've already warranted the radio. The sales tech or the service tech already told me I'm out of luck. So what happens if we're going to rely on these additional technologies
outside the ecosystem,
and the operators are potentially losing control of their customer experience? If we're going the account-based system, we're passing it off to somebody else that may not care about us.
No, and you're right. And the thing is that as a customer, we're still going to call the agency. So if Virginia is the agency,
I'm calling Jess.
I'm calling. So so no. We'll all use Jess's phone number as a call there, but no, I mean that's a great point, Tyler. So I'm not 100% sure the answer to that, but I can definitely see where it's going to create challenges, probably in the next 3 to 4 years, 5 years, because like when one of the biggest phenomena I've been seeing, just kind of a groundswell, especially like in this year. So that 900 megahertz, the next nav, that having an impact on RFIDs and the traditional tolling model, that's been kind of a low hum, kind of in the background for the past 2 years, 3 years, maybe longer. I can't recall when it actually started, but this year, literally everyone I've spoken to, almost all the meetings I've gone to, like it's top of mind, and V2X is top of mind. Washington State Transportation Commission is going to have a two-part webinar series on V2X technologies, July and September, and so who owns the customer is top of mind.
Absolutely.
What technologies will we be using? Because when you look at it, tolling has been kind of static for about 30 years or so now, since the 90s. We've improved cameras, we may have improved some lasers and such, but it's basically the same. And so I am sure that my kids will not have the same experiences that I did, when it comes to tolling. Yeah. And so that's why, as all of you have said in various capacities, that, this account-based tolling is a fundamental shift of our industry. It's going to allow the agencies to not be siloed. You're going to have a common platform that's going to be for tolling, for transit, for electric EV charging, congestion pricing, Washington State ferries, I think North Carolina down there too. That's right. It's going to have one wallet, one customer account. But the problem is that, if I am on a transit agency or if I am taking a toll road and I encounter a problem, I'm going to call them. Yeah. And so it's going to be, there's some challenges ahead where I don't know that any answers exist yet.
Yeah. All right.
So I want to add on that because one of the things you said about who owns the customer, that's always been such a controversy and a challenge. And at the end of the day, from my perspective, it doesn't matter who owns the customer. Right. All that matters is that the customer has a good experience and that they can go about their day, whether it's going to the airport, going to the grocery store, taking a toll road, that they don't have to think about it. They can just move seamlessly. And at the end of the day, again, the toll agencies just want to be paid for the toll. Yeah. Does it matter who owns the customer or how they get the money, whether it's through the vehicle technology, through an app on their phone, or through an account with the toll agency? Just want to pay their toll, get their revenue, and move on.
Yeah, and it reminds me. I don't know if y'all have ever used Shop.
Yeah,
I think there's another one called
Shop.
Yes.
Yep.
When I stumble upon a website that uses that, they immediately said, let me shoot you a text and just make sure it's you.
Yeah, it's easy.
Instantly, I'm done. They've got my payment information. They've got my address, my shipping information.
Payment's quick,
Seamless. Why can't we do that?
Yeah. So as we just have a few minutes here, I want to make sure, Tyler, I think it's time we do lightning round. So guys, we're going to escalate this to the next level or elevate this to the next level.
I like escalate.
Escalate works. But love to kind of get 30-second answers from you. Hardcore, tell us the deal. I mean, what do you want to kick us off here, Tyler?
So going back to the question to Rakesh, we'll start with you.
Yeah,
tell us the technology you think is actually going to impact us in the next 1 to 3 years.
I think it's going to be artificial intelligence. Again, it's to replace the technology, not to replace people, like Jessica started in her conversation. I really like that idea, making it conversational. Conversational is the example that you just mentioned. You had a conversation, you immediately got a response. That is your text. And then, of course, analytics, predictive analytics of where the industry is going, how is it in the future. Report ahead of the time.
There you go. All right.
That will be my take.
Jessica, what is one misconception about account-based tolling?
I think the misconception there is that we're trying to eliminate the transponder. That's not the case. This is just another tool in the toolbox. And it allows for more flexibility with the customer, gives them more freedom, and provides a better overall customer experience.
Okay, great.
George, if an agency is just beginning this journey, what's one piece of advice you'd give?
Pick it in small chunks, speak to your peers. One thing I would love for agencies to do or share some of the pilots that failed. Why repeat mistakes when your neighbor has made that mistake? And that's actually something that we're trying to do here with the Emerging Technology Committee this year.
Yeah.
Later in a couple months, we're going to do a webinar on pilots, and I'm trying to encourage folks to share some things that went wrong. But yeah, small bites and speak to your peers. Get second opinions.
All right. Now, from everybody, 30 seconds, one trend everyone should be paying attention to. And that doesn't have to be technology. What's one trend? Real fast. Go ahead, Jessica.
I didn't prepare for that one. Someone else go first.
All right, George.
A trend I find interesting is that a lot of the agencies are moving to COTS. For my first 15
commercial
years
off-the-shelf software.
Just trying to help out.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, yeah.
Okay, yeah, commercial off-the-shelf software. I'm seeing that. BADA, Florida, NCTA, Pennsylvania, Illinois. They're really looking at commercial off-the-shelf software. And I think that's a trend that's going to keep going. Those proprietary systems that only one company can manage are kind of, I think they're fading fast.
Interesting. All right, I have my opinion on that, but go ahead, Rakesh.
I think one trend I would see is overall mobility. Overall mobility with the way transportation is going. Car becomes the payment module. SMS, more interaction.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'll just say this in one line: the omni-channel connectivity and the uniqueness. So I should not get a different answer from chat, IVR, website, or SMS.
There you go.
The shop example was perfect. What Tyler did.
Beautiful. All right, Jessica, we'll finish with you.
And this is a little off topic, but a trend that I'm starting to see more and more is transparency. And in the past, it was, and George kind of alluded to it with lessons learned and being open with failures. And I think agencies are being more transparent with each other so that we can learn from each other, and also more transparent with the customer. Because if we are more approachable and kind of just put it out there, then we're gaining that trust from the customer and from our peer agencies.
Great.
Well, thank you, Jessica, Rakesh, George, for sharing your experience and insights with us today. We encourage our audience to connect with each of you on LinkedIn.
Absolutely.
Continue the conversation.
Yes.
And learn more about the important work that y'all are advancing for the future of tolling mobility.
Yeah. Well, I think this was another great session of the customer journey experience. We obviously have a lot to continue to talk about. We're going to have more episodes and more topics. And guys, I want to thank everybody for being on this. Sitting by my side here, it's been great having you on in the group here. So appreciate that, Tyler and Jessica, Rakesh and George. Thank you very much for joining us. And so for all those who have been watching Toll Talk, please continue. We're going to have more episodes coming. And most importantly, we're going to have more of this conversation, this mini-series about the customer journey experience.
Smash that sub button. Don't forget.
Subscribe, like, and follow. And again, I'm Alex Fakeri.
I'm Tyler Milligan.
And we want to thank you for watching Toll Talk.